everyone, it's Amy from Finger Lakes Explorers. Today we're going to share some of the reasons why we think the often overlooked parks at the northern tips of the Finger Lakes are well worth a visit. Sure, the parks at the southern end of the Finger Lakes are better known, and there's no arguing why. They're gorgeous. But that doesn't mean the northern parks don't have a ton to offer. So come along as we explore the northern parks and why we think you should add them to your next Finger Lakes itinerary. Almost all of the Finger Lakes have at least one park at the northern tip, with Canadice being the exception. To give you a quick rundown of all the parks from west to east, we have Vital Park on Canisius Lake, Hemlock Lake Park on Hemlock Lake. Canadice Lake has a small grassy area and access to the walking trail, but no actual park at the northern tip. There's Sandy Bottom Park on Honeoye Lake, Kershaw Park on Canandaigua Lake, and Keuka Lake actually has three northern parks: Keuka Lake State Park, Red Jacket Park, and Indian Pines Park. Seneca Lake has a state park at the northern tip, as does Cayuga Lake. On Owasco Lake there's Emerson Park, Skinny Atlas Lake has Cliff Park, and Otisco Lake has Otisco Lake Park at its northern end. Now that you have an idea of the many options for northern parks, let's dive right in with why we think you should visit these parks. The number 7 reason? Location, location, location. The parks at the northern tips of the Finger Lakes are much easier to access than most of the other parks in the area. It's just a short drive from the two major cities closest to the Finger Lakes, Rochester and Syracuse. So the northern ends of the Finger Lakes are quicker to access by folks coming in from those cities, or most people flying into the region, as Rochester and Syracuse are going to be two of your largest airports in the region, with Ithaca coming in third. I-90, also known as the New York State Thruway, also runs just a few miles north of the lakes, running east to west, so many visitors to the region will likely be coming in from the Thruway and reaching the northern tips of the parks first if they're driving in. Also, most of the larger towns of the region are found at the northern tips of the Finger Lakes, with Ithaca being the exception to this. And with those larger towns, you're going to find more amenities like restaurants, shopping, supermarkets, including Wegmans, and hotels. The towns of Canandaigua, Geneva, and Auburn are all at the northern tips of the Finger Lakes and all have tons of amenities, including some phenomenal restaurants, theaters, and lots of history. And each of these towns plays host to a northern park. So these parks are a great option if you're looking for a balance of nature and lots of amenities nearby. The locations of these parks right near major highways and interstates also makes it easier to hop from one park to another. So while sometimes people come to the Finger Lakes and focus on just one lake, focusing your visit on the northern parts of the lakes and the parks will allow you the opportunity to easily pop to 2, 3, or even 4 lakes in one day. This is particularly true for the easternmost and westernmost lakes in the Finger Lakes because they are a little bit smaller and closer together. And this can be a lot of fun because the lakes are so very different and each one offers something a little unique. The number 6 reason for visiting the northern parks is that they tend to be less crowded or touristed than the bigger name parks of the south. Many visitors to the Finger Lakes focus all of their hiking and natural exploring time in the bigger name state parks in the south: Watkins Glen, Taganic, Buttermilk Falls, and with good reason. Don't get me wrong, these parks are stunningly beautiful and offer some of the most amazing waterfalls in the country. But I can't tell you how many times I've gone to Watkins Glen in the summer and been stuck behind massive crowds of tourists on the trail just waiting to go around a bend. It definitely takes away from that feeling of peace and wonder that you want to get when you're out exploring parks and nature. But that peace and wonder can still be found many places throughout the northern parks. The northern parks have plenty of natural beauty and are often overlooked completely by visitors to the region, but they shouldn't be. They may not have the waterfall wow factor of the southern parks, but they do offer some beautiful lake views, great options for picnicking and get-togethers, and much more room to spread out and just enjoy nature. The number 5 reason? Beaches and swimming. Speaking of getting out and enjoying nature, many of the northern parks have beaches and designated swimming areas in them. You may not think of coming to the Finger Lakes to go to the beach, but we actually have many great beaches that are perfect for lounging in the sun or even enjoying a dip in the fresh lake water. You can find beaches with lifeguards at Sandy Bottom Park on Honeoye, Kershaw Park in Canandaigua, Keuka Lake State Park, Seneca Lake State Park, Cayuga Lake State Park, and Emerson Park on Owasco Lake. Cliff Park on Skinny Atlas Lake also has swimming access from the grassy park, but there's no beach there. Number 4, they're family friendly. The northern parks tend to be more family friendly and more accessible than many of the southern parks just by the nature of their landscapes. The northern parks are flatter, with many trails or paths paved and accessible for strollers or wheelchairs, so anyone in the family can access and enjoy the parks. The same isn't always true of the southern parks. To experience the beautiful gorge trails of Watkins Glen or Stony Brook or Robert Treman, you're going to need to traverse a number of stairs. For those of us with little kids or older family members, these parks can be really tricky to visit and enjoy. But the whole family should have no issue experiencing most of what the northern parks have to offer. Plus, the northern parks have some of the best playgrounds in all of the Finger Lakes. We absolutely love the pirate ship playground at Cayuga Lake State Park, the variety of new and modern playgrounds and fun splash pad at Seneca Lake State Park, and the great views you get from the playgrounds at Kershaw Park and Sandy Bottom Park. Number 3, great options for biking and walking. Sticking with the theme of being accessible, the northern parks have some awesome trails for casual biking and walking, perfect for any age or ability. If you're looking to get out in nature but not necessarily looking for a strenuous hike, there's no better place to wander around and soak in the lake views than the northern parks of the Finger Lakes. Seneca Lake State Park, Cayuga Lake State Park, and Kershaw Park on Canandaigua all offer paved or crushed stone trails along the lakeshore that are perfect for biking or strolling. Vital Park and Canisius Lake has a beautiful winding trail along the lakeshore with some stunning gardens, gazebos, and bridges. And Sandy Bottom has a boardwalk and nature trail that winds through the marshy land just north of Honeoye Lake. The number 2 reason for visiting the northern parks are the amazing lake views. Each of the parks at the northern tips of the Finger Lakes offer gorgeous views of their respective lakes. Some of our favorite views in the Finger Lakes can be found at those northern parks. Just take a look. And finally, the number 1 reason you should visit the northern parks of the Finger Lakes is that many of them are free to visit. Most of these parks are county or town-run parks and charge no fees for entrance or parking. This includes Vital Park, Hemlock Lake Park, Sandy Bottom Park, Red Jacket and Indian Pines Parks, Emerson Park, Cliff Park, and Otisco Lake Park. Kershaw Park is free to enjoy, but there is a small admission fee to the beach and swimming area for non-Canandaigua residents. That's 9 parks where you can lose yourself in a peaceful, natural setting while taking in the gorgeous views of the Finger Lakes for free. And while the state parks do charge a small fee per car for admission, they are still a budget-friendly way to spend a day and a great value considering all the amenities offered. And for those folks watching from New York State, did you know many local libraries allow you to borrow an Empire Pass for free admission to the state parks? Monroe County Libraries around Rochester, Onondaga County Libraries around Syracuse, and the Tompkins County Library in Ithaca all loan out the Empire Pass. It's a cool perk that not everyone knows about, so check with your local library to see if the Empire Pass is available to you. There you have it, 7 reasons we think you should add the northern parks to your next Finger Lakes visit. Let us know what questions you have about any of these parks, or if you visited, let us know what northern park you like the most. Go ahead and share it in the comments below. Thanks, as always, for watching.